Sustainable Practitioner 2014, Assessment 1. What is sustainability and what does it mean for me and my practice as a counsellor? By Eloise Wheeler. Enjoy.
And welcome to my video that I'm filming today at the lovely Ross Creek about what sustainability means to me in my everyday life and in my practice as a counsellor. I'm going to talk about sustainability and some of the models it entails and how I would describe sustainability as a concept.
Defining sustainability and a history of the concept. Sustainability or sustainable development is a concept that is a fairly recent one. It was first defined in 1987 by the Brundtland Commission. It has been referred to as both sustainability and sustainable development within the Brundtland Report. Both terms were used interchangeably. It is suggested in S. Presner's Principles of Sustainability that it was important not to differentiate between the two because it may undermine what they were hoping to achieve, which was a consensus around the mutual need for environmental protection and development. It became important to define sustainability because global corporations such as the World Bank had been intervening in the economic and social policies of the Third World. So the Secretary General of the UN asked the Prime Minister of Norway to form an organisation independent of the UN to focus on environmental and developmental problems and solutions. The Brundtland Commission was formed and the report conducted. The Brundtland Report defined sustainable development as meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Now I will speak briefly about some of the models of sustainability I've learned about, starting with the Brundtland model. I thought it important to speak about the Brundtland model because it was one of the first models of sustainability and has helped shape a lot of other ones that we see today. The Brundtland model, or the Brundtland House, is one of the first models of sustainability and the first to identify the three key concepts of sustainability. These concepts or components are identified as social, environmental and economic. In the model, these are represented by three pillars, commonly known as the three pillars of sustainability. Each pillar is independent from the others and each is equal in size and load. Eastman's book, Sustainable Lens, states that although the Brundtland model has been widely criticised and debated, it is the basis for most other models which all contain the same three components as Brundtland's. Here we have two other models of sustainability. Both incorporate the three original components of Brundtland's house: social, economic and environmental. On the left we have the three-legged stool model. The way a stool functions is that each leg is needed for the stool to balance. It is then fair to assume that if one of the legs of sustainability is broken or cracked, that the stool will not function as it should. This idea is stated in Eastman's book, Sustainable Lens. On the right we have Barbier-Venn's three overlapping circles, which again incorporates the three components from Brundtland's. However, what sets this model apart from both the pillars and the stool is that it is the first to incorporate the idea that each section of sustainability is intertwined and overlapping. It also identifies the outcome of what happens when two adjoining aspects of sustainability are achieved. An example of this is displayed on the model, where both environmental and social overlap, and it has the outcome of making things bearable. In the next part I will try in the simplest way to describe my own definition of sustainability as a whole and the three core concepts which it entails. These concepts are environmental sustainability, economic sustainability and socio-political sustainability. My definition of sustainability is the ability to meet today's generation's needs without impacting on future generations' abilities to meet their own needs. My definition of environmental sustainability is the maintenance of practices and factors that contribute to the Earth's environment remaining livable for generations to come. My economic definition is the strategy of using existing resources to get optimal benefit that can be sustained long term. And my socio-political definition is the ability of a community or government to develop structures and policies which not only meet the needs of its current people, but also support the ability of future generations to meet their needs. Now that you've heard me talk about sustainability and what it means to me, I bet you're wondering how I practice sustainability in my own life. Well, here I'm going to give you a little snapshot of things I do to be more sustainable. My goals and ideas around economic sustainability are not about earning lots and lots of money, otherwise I would not be in this job. It's about maintaining a happy, achievable lifestyle that is not out of my reach. Some examples of ways I practice economic sustainability are not living beyond my means. This means not spending more than I actually have coming in. Some examples of this are not ticking up things on hire purchase I cannot pay off, and budgeting for important things like bills and groceries. Another aspect of not living beyond your means is choosing things like rental accommodation that you can afford. I know there are a lot of students in Dunedin that pay $105, $120 for a room and then are left with peanuts to pay for everything else.
Living in a sustainable way also means not living beyond your means, such as rental fees. This is our lovely new place with quite a nice view and even an outdoor pool if we are keen.
I would now like to talk a little bit about environmental sustainability and how I practice it, and I also thought since I was up at the Ross Creek Reserve I would take a chance to show some of the ways that the council is practicing it up there too.
Sustainability also means looking after the other beings that we share this environment with. Here we have some lovely little duckies who are quite free to frolic in their natural habitat because this is a protected reserve at Ross Creek. Hello duckies! They seem quite content. Sustainability also means looking after the environment that we're lucky enough to be a part of. Here at Ross Creek we have a lovely dog-e-do bag dispenser so that people can clean up after their dogs and not leave wee messes behind. Sustainability also means being a tidy Kiwi. Here we have some rubbish on the ground and I'm going to do the right thing for the environment and pick it up.
Now I'm going to talk briefly about some of the ways that I practice environmental sustainability. Here I have a collage of pictures that represent ways in which I am environmentally sustainable in my day-to-day life. In the top left corner I have a picture of my favourite jersey which I got op shopping. I think op shopping is a great way to save money and be environmentally sustainable because it prevents clothing being thrown out. In the top right I have my favourite reusable coffee cup which saves the environment and it saves me money because some places give discounts if you bring your own cup. Down the bottom I have a picture of Kath and Kim, which is just a funny way to represent myself walking to Polytech and other places, which obviously saves gas emissions towards the environment. And down the bottom I have a picture of my lovely homemade insulation, which keeps me warm and saves money on power and heating.
Next I'm going to talk about what sustainability means for me in my practice as a counsellor. Okay, so part of sustainability is self-care and looking after yourself, and that means exercising. Sometimes that means a yoga class, sometimes that means a run at the gym, but today it's a leisurely walk with Campbell at Ross Creek.
There are a few ways in which I can be a sustainable practitioner and practice sustainability in my work as a counsellor. If I was to think wider picture, the first thing I would think of would be thinking about my political choices when voting. I think it's really important to be aware of what parties favour a welfare system and favour putting money into health and well-being and which don't. And in that respect, I think it's really important to think about who I vote for, and I've always been very conscious of that. Another really important aspect of being a sustainable practitioner is about self-care and avoiding burnout. Some ways of self-care are practical things like healthy diet and exercise, and then there's also self-care of the mind. Jay Tolan's Skills in Person-Centered Counselling and Psychotherapy highlights two really important aspects of self-care of the mind for counsellors, which are receiving supervision for all your client work, and also personal counselling for those times where you have triggers that just need to be a little bit worked on so they don't affect your work. At an organisational level, being sustainable in my practice means aiming to provide an accessible service to clients, so it's easy to come to, it's affordable, it's something they can keep doing, and it's not going to weigh on them too much. And if I'm thinking about the client again, it is also important not only to practice self-care, but to teach my clients about self-care, so it has a flow-on effect and we're all sort of maintaining our self-care and a happy life balance, and then they can tell people they know what they've learned, and it means that the cycle of self-care carries on.